Hey, where the fuck are you going?
Sure. Well, yes. That's good. You killed half of them. Now kill the rest.
What's up, you guys? Joker back. Today we're taking a look at something that I call Green Bean Killing Machine, which is basically a shit ton of digital Flora gear combined and very much inspired by the Crimean annexation. So it's not a direct impression, but it's heavily based on the troops that we saw in 2014 in Crimea. So we're gonna start top to bottom. So I'll put this rifle away just for the moment. Now, what's important to know is that these items, the helmets, the vests, they have a lot of combinations with numbers and letters. I'm not very good at remembering them all, so when you watch this video, there's going to pop up a text next to it where the detailed name and information is revealed. I will be saying some of the names that I do know at the top of my head, but some of these things are pretty hard to remember. So we're gonna walk through them, and after we've done it, we're gonna remove the items and see what's left. But no sexy striptease, unfortunately. Starting, this is a helmet replica. I believe it's something called 6B27M. I'm not sure, but you'll see it right here. Now this is a pretty sturdy replica, but it's very lightweight. Probably some kind of polycarbonate plastic or similar. It's very suitable if you just want a helmet that looks the part and don't want to spend money on it. We also have a helmet cover here. As far as I know, this helmet cover is a little bit too modern for the 2014 period, but it is what's available at Gray Shop. So also here you can see this is a very typical old Soviet-esque chin straps. They have a button here. You can see the helmet unfortunately is pretty wobbly. That is because on the inside it's a little hard to make the adjustments. It takes some time, and it's pretty good to wear maybe with a hat or, like this case, a balaclava. So this is what the helmet looks like. You also here on the back have Velcro if you want to have goggles, so you can secure the straps with the Velcro here. And also here is a space where you can secure with a Velcro strap the glasses so they don't move and stay secure on your helmet. Moving on, this is just typical green balaclava. I believe it's called VKBO, that is the brand. In general, that's the term used for a lot of the gear that was used in 2014. It was VKBO, so this is one of their typical balaclavas. It's very thick, it's very warm, and I don't recommend wearing it in warm weather. Now, it's a little chilly, but it's getting warmer here in Sweden, so just wearing it right now is pretty sweaty. So I'm going to remove this, but before I do, you can see it's nothing fantastic or special. It's just a simple green balaclava. Now we're moving on to the more tactical vest and armor parts of this uniform. So on the outside here, what I'm wearing is the 6SH112. That's a mouthful. That's why I have a hard time remembering all these names, but you'll see it pop up on the screen with the correct pronunciation or numbering. If you watched my previous video with the body armor and vest, you recognize this, so I won't go too much into detail, but it's more or less a standard issue LBV system that the Russian forces use. They also use a 117 model nowadays and other models that have been upgraded, but this is pretty good for the timing around 2014 if you want to be inspired by the Crimean troops there. So you have 4 pouches here, so in total it's about 8 magazines in total. They fit 2 magazines, Velcro, and a button latch, so you can have it just easy to tear up with the Velcro, or if you want to secure it, you can hook the button until you hear the click. Also, some small grenade pouches. In this case, when I play airsoft, it's perfect to have the def rag in. A small IFAC or radio pouch, depends on what you want to use it to. Also here, another miscellaneous pouch. Some molly spacing here left if you want to play some carabiners, maybe a smaller radio or something like that, perfect for it. Also we have the butt pack. These are very much similar to what you would find on a Smirch or another older LBV system where you want to carry maybe some rationing foods, extra clothing, maybe a raincoat or something like that. It's perfect for it. Other than that, you've probably seen this vest by now on my channel, so I won't be going through it anymore. But this is what was typically seen on the troops, but we're gonna move on to the body armor. So what you see here right now is a 6B23 replica. Now I haven't had a real one to make comparisons with, but I think this is a pretty good replica. There are some negative parts with it and I will go through them. Starting with what's most commonly known as the dick flap, the groin protection. Just if you make a move, it's very easy that it sticks up like this and it looks like you have some kind of gear boner. Not very fun, but of course you could just try and keep it stiff, no pun intended. But it's kind of too flappy, doesn't stay in place, so if you run or move, it's gonna stick up just like this, which is a little bit ridiculous. But other than that, it's suitable. It gets pretty warm in this thing, even though it doesn't have real plates. As far as I know, it has some kind of padding that's similar to maybe yoga mats or something like that. But in the realism aspect, I think it looks the part. You have Velcro here, so you can open up and fix your protective neck collar. You can of course remove it if you want, but I don't think it's much commonly seen like that. This variant is also in the old school Flora 98 version. There was versions of Flora like here on this body armor, but I chose this one because I think it stands out much more in combination with the digital camouflage. This belt here is a personal belt, but it's very suitable, and I believe I've seen similar models in usage with this body armor. This belt was used before I owned this body armor with the Anna Grad 2 tactical vest. So this is basically just a common personal tactical belt, no advanced function, has a hook system. Once it's hooked, it sits pretty secure and it's perfect. But removing the belt, you'll see that the body armor opens with Velcro. Once you remove the Velcro, there's the inner part that makes sure that the vest doesn't skip around very much. So once you have it there and closed on the outside, it sits very securely and it gets pretty warm when you're wearing it. So that was the body armor part. We're gonna move on to the uniform. Alright guys, so we're taking a look at the uniform. Now unfortunately, since it's been almost 6 years since the Crimean annexation, a lot of the gear used back then was in early testing and prototype stages, so commercially available is not something that you'll find those uniforms to be. Now Grey Shop offers a lot of repro and civilian variants, which is perfect for airsoft and some kind of milsim games or whatever, if you don't want to spend too much money on chasing down the real thing. It's also worth noting that selling issued military gear in Russia is illegal, therefore it is very hard to come across the real deal. So the perfect substitute then is the gear that is available from Grey Shop. So this is just a typical BDU uniform, also one of the older VKBO variants. Unfortunately, since I think this is a civilian variant, the color scheme and grading is very off in comparison to the lower parts of these BDU pants that you'll see here. But this is more or less the typical BDU uniform. It shares similarities with Western or NATO uniforms, but what's typical when it comes to Russian or Eastern Bloc uniforms is you have the shoulder designations here where you can have rank. Also, the pouches on the arms is a very typical thing. I think that first appeared with the Afghanka uniform during the Afghanistan war. The negative thing I will say about this uniform is that the threading on these buttons is ridiculously bad. If you pull too much, you'll lose the buttons. Just if I pull here, I'm sure this one's gonna fall off. So you need to be good with a sewing kit, which is unfortunately not something that everyone is and expect to be when they purchase something. So that's unfortunately something that I will say is very negative about this uniform. Quality wise, this is very standard and light budget. You'll need to expect that this will probably rip and tear pretty easy if you're gonna roll around in bushes or slide down mountains or whatever. It's not made for hardcore usage. For airsoft games, it'll probably be perfect, but you'll have to expect some rip and tear. No Doom reference. Underneath here, you'll see the typical blue striped Techincom, which can be both in long variants or tank top models. Now, since it's a little bit chilly, I decided to wear the long variant. It works pretty good as an undergarment, so it's an extra layer so you don't get as cold as much. These are typically seen with the paratrooper units called VDV. I believe that a lot of special forces or special branches and divisions have their own designated color code, but what was most commonly seen during Crimea was this one. You'll also see that I'm wearing knee pads. Various models of knee pads I think were used by the soldiers, but these ones are from Splav. I believe they are called Rage, but you'll see it on the side here in the video. These are basically like any kind of knee pads you would find. Elastics, Velcro, and a metal loop system just to pull it in and then secure it. So we're gonna take a look at the boots next. Alright you guys, so we're taking a look at these boots, which are basically brand new and not used until this video. Therefore, they might look a little bit too clean, but then again, some people prefer clean boots, but these doesn't look like they're worn at all, and that's basically because I haven't worn them until this video. These are supposed to be standard issue army boots. Of course, by the time I make this video, it's very possible that they have made another iteration of it. But you'll see that it doesn't really differ from any other kind of military boot. I wouldn't say that there's any special function or anything. I would say that the lacening and actually threading here feels very good, feels solid and good quality. When you have new boots, of course you need to walk them in a little bit. Therefore, these are a little bit uncomfortable, but of course you'll walk that off as the boots get better grip around your feet and soles. I believe that they are very steady. Of course, you can impregnate them with some kind of water-resistant solvent or cream or anything like that. I think that they have pretty good grip. On the bottom of the sole, you'll see that it says anti-slip material. It's not really wet or moist out here, so I can't really put that to the test. But these are what you'll see most commonly on Russian troops, probably until today actually. I'll be happy to be corrected for any errors, but it's not so much to say about boots, but this is basically what they look like. Alright you guys, so I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of what you can wear if you want to look like a green bean killing machine. Like I said, it's not an impression, therefore a lot of details and a lot of items are not accurate or original or genuine, but I think it captures the look of what the troops in Crimea looked like around 2014. It's important to note that Grey Shop doesn't sell actual issued military gear. As previously mentioned, it's illegal. Therefore, if you want to make some compromises in your purchase, Grey Shop is a perfect alternative in supplying gear that suits this kind of loadouts and other ones if you're interested in that. I want to give a big thanks to Grey Shop for supplying me with all these gears and for making this review possible. If you have any questions, make sure to of course comment them. You can DM me on Instagram. If you have any other discussions you want to take, of course I'd like to see it down in the comments. I'd be happy to take any constructive criticism, and of course I hope you enjoyed this video and the upcoming content to come. And until then, take care. Joker out.